It's good to see everybody. And it's good to get Kathleen on tape. We are so excited. Um, we've got Kathleen Seals today, and I have been after her for so long. Okay. Well, let's see. What was I saying? Okay, today, welcome to everybody in Facebook land and also on this particular Zoom. I could not be more excited and more jumpy because we have one of my favorite people on the planet that is going to train us today, teach us, share with us some amazing stuff. She is one of my funnest friends. As you can see, she's even got purple hair. So she tries to match our oils with Jack background. And but Kathleen really is one of the smartest girls I've ever met. She worked for NASA and she is just brilliant. She wants to open schools, a lot based on the work that I did. And I love people that want to help children to be all they can be instead of how to fit in a box. And Kathleen is one of those people that is raising a son. I mean, it makes me cry when I watch her with her son and with her husband because they are kind of my goal sort of for how people can live. Kathleen is an expert on human behavior, and I love that. I love human behavior, and I have absolutely infallible belief that humans can be more than what they think they can be. I think we are just the worst obstacle and block to our highest potential that God asked us to be. I think that when we are the miracle that happens at birth, God is praying that whatever he poked on our forehead that we're supposed to be, that we actually find that. But I think a lot of us wrestle to try to find out who we are, what are we doing, why are we here? And Kathleen to me embodies a lot of that discovery at a really young age, because I think Kathleen began this journey of being her unique, authentic self very early. She's got quite an extraordinary story of growing up, etc. And I don't know, I'm trying to make the stone soup. And so I only know what I know, and I know how to start the fire and I know how to put the water in the big pot. But other than that, I just pray that other people will come along, like Byron, who's been my business partner for over 20 years now, who I just adore. And he is the smartest person I've ever known. So the thing is that when we have these smart people come together that have broken through some big aspects of life, and our biggest aspect of life is our personality, because our personality then picks everything for us, right? It picks our opportunities, it picks our hair color, it picks the way that we take care of ourselves or others. And that's the big thing that we have to try to overcome. So today, Kathleen is going to teach us about human behavior and why human behavior makes a decision to work with you or not. And she's put it in a very practical way for us to be able to build our business, because as much as I talk on this all the time, that the spreading of young living, not only the words young living, which are so important, nobody realized that Gary Young, who discovered young living and started and brought aromatherapy to the United States, that we would ever be trying to figure out longevity and health and well-being at such a critical time right now, because we were forced into division. It started in architecture, putting the fences around the houses, putting the fences around the moat. The separation of humans has been a tragedy, because humans are meant to touch. Humans are meant to lift each other up. Humans are meant to love. God put us here to work according to his plan. And if you look at the birds or the bees or the trees, you can see, wow, he was pretty smart, right? We still get to go see the sun come up and the sun go down. And yet humans have totally just completely messed this up to where we are not in alignment with our highest self. We're not in alignment with the people that we love. I think that we all have so many ridiculous insecurities. They cause blocks. They cause blocks in our house. They cause blocks with the people that we suck into our lives that constantly tell us we're not good enough. And we do that on purpose because we think we're not good enough. So if we have somebody else tell us, we're for sure right. And I think if you guys think about how tough Dixie must have had it to try to figure out how to make money selling Tupperware as a transvestite, and look at who she is now. Laura had more fun. We are both going to reach out to her because I believe, my expertise, one of them is to help people leverage who they are with how they're going to make money, which is why I love, love, love Young Living, because Young Living is what we all are, right? We want to live young. We want to have things that help us heal and help us keep from getting sick. And we want a community of people that are trying to live their life a better way and also go over to Kathleen's dance studio and dance with each other. And so we have this community that is a knock your socks off community. We sell stuff that actually helps everybody. I'm not sure about Tupperware and plastic, but you know what? Dixie's got it made. And so why don't we take a look at how Dixie took maybe some lemonade given, or lemons given to her, and she made not only lemonade, she made a fireball rocket out of putting lemonade in the rocket. And you guys have so much going for you. Number one, the people in this community are the smartest, coolest, most beautiful, funny, wonderful, huge resume people I've ever been around in my entire life. We have products that literally change your life. I am watching it on a daily basis as Tom goes through his brain cancer recovery. It looks like he's maybe healed. It's the craziest thing. I'm just like watching this. And I asked the doctor surgeon yesterday, I said, do you have any clue as to what's going on with Tom? And he said, Trish, I have seen this before at glioblastoma. And when I have, I just don't ask any questions. And I said, okay, all right. I mean, maybe that's the right answer. But the truth is that if Tom is a miracle healing, it's not because of stuff that we don't know. Jesus came here to tell us we're all mystics. We're all psychics. We can all levitate. And we got in the way. And we said, no, that's magic. That's not true. That can't be happening. And so we started believing in all these things that have nothing to do with why we're here. So as you're going through this, Laura brought Dixie up to me, but Laura said it's normicals. We're not calling it magical anymore. We're calling it normical. That all the way we've been living is not the normal way. We've chosen to live a less than fabulous life because we've been drilled into believing that that's all we can have. And it is not true. It's not true. We have down days, and believe me, I've had a bunch of them in the last several months. But if we just keep the faith and know that we're supposed to be at our highest and best selves and just stay there. Kathleen is somebody to watch because Kathleen is young. She's somehow come into the wisdom. I mean, she's got twice as much wisdom as I do, and I've got probably nearly that much age. So I love Kathleen because she gives me all kinds of great ideas about how we can live and start anytime you want to. Start at 90 if that's where you are. but at least start and keep going. So with all that, I love Kathleen, and I so appreciate her finally allowing us to listen to her, because she has a lot of really cool stuff to say. So welcome to everybody. I see Janie and Isabella just kind of got on. If you guys can turn your cameras on, we love to see your faces. But I really appreciate you showing up. I love you guys. I love doing this on Saturday mornings. Thank you, Roberta, for taking care of our wonderful cat. Kat's doing well. She's with all of her therapists. She's on a banshee right now to heal. And as she's allowed to, she'll come back and talk to us about all the things that she's doing. Jack is a whole lot better. He's still struggling a tiny bit, but we're all healing right now. We're all transitioning in a big way. So Kathleen, I love you, honey. Come on up.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here, and I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. This was a great birthday gift to me. My birthday's tomorrow, so I'm very excited. When Trish asked me to do this on Wednesday, I was like, of course, let's go. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in because I'm trying to boil down about 20 something years of human behavior studies into 45 minutes. As we all know, that's impossible. So I'm going to give you the biggest picture possible with the most applicable things to do. So we are going to start off, because I know this is actually a fact, and I know Jack knows this too, that's why he does it as well. When people are having fun and they're laughing, they are more receptive to learning. When you're in fight or flight, you are not. So if you're stressed out, when you're stressed out, you won't laugh. You're not laughing when you're stressed. You laugh maybe like a nervous laugh, but that's not a real laugh. When you're actually laughing, it sends a signal to your brain to relax and that it's okay to receive information. So do you remember Easter, y'all? Let's see, what was that like? Parking at church on Easter. Oh boy. And does anyone else do this? I say thank you to all my robots around the house because, I don't know, they're intelligent and I'm happy to make them happy so that they don't come get me later. Oh my gosh, I loved this. Every triangle is a love triangle when you love triangles. And have you ever wondered, do you think Pavlov thought about feeding his dog every time he heard a bell ring? What about the conditioner doing the conditioning? Was he also conditioned? And one more for y'all. It's school picture day, but you got to sell a 73 Cutlass Supreme at $345. I swear someone bought a car from this guy. Okay, and now one fun fact, because we are going to get into human behavior. And one thing I know is that humans like good breath. Okay. And I learned this recently from a dentist that sorbitol and xylitol both help promote healthy mouth bacteria that actually fight plaque and tartar. This is from the dentist. This is not medical advice or anything. She said it's better than brushing or flossing. So funny thing, thieves has sorbitol in it. So if you want to have a mint after you eat food, then have a thieves mint and it will promote healthy mouth bacteria. So you don't even have to go run and brush your teeth and get rid of all of the good stuff that's in there and let the good stuff fight the bad stuff, because there's a war waging all the time, but we've got the good guys on our side. Okay. A little bit about me, just so that you know that I have done things and I'm not just talking from random ideas that I get. I do have a communications degree from Northwestern. I studied human behavior, behavioral sciences. I also studied persuasion, and my two fields of concentration are media and politics and argumentation and advocacy. So I have a lot of little intricate things. I also studied theories of persuasion, and we're going to get into some of that today. I worked at NASA and the Senate and all over Capitol Hill. I've been in business and sales leadership for over 15 years. And one of my proudest things is I've taken multiple businesses from underperforming significantly to performing, and I did not have to change the staff. I did not have to change anything. It was just the strategies and the mindset that was the difference. And finally, I am a Maxwell Leadership Certified DISC consultant and author, speaker, coach, and trainer. I forgot that I'm an author, but I am. And why though? Why are we going to talk about, and why did I focus on DISC? Because as soon as DISC was brought into my life, it was like this light bulb that opened up so much, that made so many things make sense. It is the simplest, the most recent, and the most clear personality, human behavior rubric to understand people. Because Myers-Briggs is wonderful, but there's like 32 different combinations or 16, whatever. It's like a gazillion things that you have to remember, and you got to know which one is which. And oftentimes we are not just one thing, we are multiple things. And I always struggled with that because I'm an INFJ, and every once in a while I'll get an ENFJ result when I take the test. So it always confused me until DISC. So that is why. Now, what does this picture tell you? If you were to look at these 4 things, I think you know what to expect, right? We wouldn't expect the tiger to act like a giraffe, or vice versa, although a giraffe can be kind of cruel. We would not expect them to elicit the same behavior toward us, and we would not treat them the same way. Likewise, a Dalmatian and a zebra, even though they have the same colors, they have different patterns, and they're recognizable patterns. So when you have the tools to recognize the patterns of humans in life, you unlock so many opportunities for yourself. So we're going to do a big top-down view of DISC, and it's going to be very simple. I use this literally every single day of my life. I talk to people about DISC every day, because when you do, you understand it, you will soar. All right, so the first style, D. The D style are the driver style. They're the deciders. They're really people who like to take charge. And it's not just because they like to take charge. They're also afraid of being taken advantage of. So being in a powerful position means they feel less vulnerable. They feel like people can't get at them as much, although it's still possible. They just know that if they're in charge, stuff will go the right way. Fortunately for you, there's only 3% of us in the population, and that was God being generous, because you don't need more than that of us. We're kind of bossy and we'll take over. Then there's the I styles. They're the influencing, the fun, gregarious people. They're like my husband. They walk in a room and everybody knows them. And he knows nobody's names. He does not remember how to show up on time to things or any details, but he does know how to connect naturally to humans, and that is the influencing style. Those are 11% of the population, and they keep things fun for us. Then we have the S styles. They are supportive, they're steady, they like harmony, they want people to get along and work as a team. They do not like change. They like things to stay the same. They want security. And these people get jobs done. They actually finish the task. When a D will start things, an S will actually finish it. Now, will they finish it the best way? No, but they get it done, which is better than not at all. So, and they are really the lifeblood of our population. They really are the ones who help us keep things rolling, because without them, we would all be scattered everywhere and not really finishing. That's why there's 69% of the population. And finally, there's the C styles. We are the cautious, careful, correct, compliant, really focusing on, is it right? Did I do it right? They don't care if it was done on time or whatever. Did I do it correctly? That is the main focus of a C. And there's someone you would want as an accountant. You would not want an I as your accountant. You would be in very big trouble. And these people are 17% of the population. And if you are a C, you probably noticed that this little bit right here on the C is not rounded. So did I. And I almost fixed it. And as I was fixing it, I said, no, this is perfect. This is exactly what a C would know. So if you're a C, you know that. And you're 17% of the population.
And I have to add, Kathleen, C should not run companies, but a lot of companies will hire C's to run them, and they will run a company into the ground. I've been working with DISC for, I don't even know, 25, 30 years. And this is so important, you guys. If you
Yeah,
really will spend some
I have.
time listening to her, this is like the importance of how to get along with your kids, your mother, your husband, because all of a sudden you have a reason for really appreciating how different people are and how you need each other.
Absolutely. So my personal style, so you know this, while I'm presenting, I'm a CD. So my primary is C, my secondary is D. That means I want things done perfectly and I want them done right now. That is not possible, but it's how my personality is and how I'm wired. And I know that, and I can laugh at myself about it. So just a really quick, easy way to look at this, and you may want to screenshot this picture because we're going to break this down just really easily. The top half are the outgoing styles, the D's and the I's. Those are more outgoing. They like being around people. They get their energy from talking to people. The top people are the DIs. Those are the outgoing folks. The S's and the C's are more reserved. That means if they were going to an elevator, the D's and the I's would be excited if someone came in the elevator with them. The S's and the C's would kind of hope there wasn't someone in the elevator, but the S's would at least be nice. And then we have the task focused side and the people oriented side. There's two different sides, the left and the right. So the D's and the C's are more task focused, and the I's and the S's are more people focused. One time I was getting ready for a DISC presentation, and I asked my husband and I to go do a task for me, to go pick up some things at Kinko's. And I told him exactly where to go. I said, you're going to go to the front desk, you're going to ask them for this thing, and then you're going to go over to this machine and you're going to use this code, and you got it. And he repeated it back to me, which is usually a good sign. And then he said, okay, I got it. If I have any questions though, I can call you, right? Yes. Okay. So obviously I'm having him do this because I'm trying to do two things at one time. And I'm getting ready for a DISC presentation, remember this. And then I get a call and he's at CVS. And I said, oh, did you already get everything? And he said, yeah, I'm done. And I said, really? You went to both places? You didn't have any questions while you were there? He's like, oh, two places? So I laughed in my head and said, what was I thinking? Sending a people-focused person to do a task. That is not the thing that his strength zone is. He is so much better. If I said, I need you to go schmooze with this person and make sure that they like me before I get to know them, that is his role. He's so good at that. Asking him to do a task is like asking a toddler to pick up their room without giving him any direction. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? They don't know enough to know that. So we have to be sure that we're communicating with people and asking them to do the things that they are good at and that their strengths are. And also when we're in buying situations, how does their style affect their buying style? So every style has a few little key points that they're going to need in order to say yes. And everyone, and I've been in sales for a very long time. I'm always in face-to-face, interpersonal sales. And everyone is much better at saying yes when they're laughing and having fun, when they feel that you are genuine and authentic, and when they feel heard and understood. It's just the truth. No one really feels good when you tell them what they need and you didn't listen to them first. They all need to be heard. So that's blanket across the board. Now, specific things that will dramatically change from person to person, from style to style. And now think about this too. You are probably not just one style. In fact, you might not just be two styles. You may be a combination of two or three. You're going to have pieces of all four in your personality, of course. You're not just like, okay, now this is your box and you're in there forever. That's not the case. But you will find that there are some things that are just more natural. And you say, oh, that's my gravitational pull over here. So what D styles need? They like status. They like to look good. They like to be cool. They like to wear fancier things because they want to look and feel awesome. They want clear and direct communication. They do not like it when you dance around in flowery language and they get lost fast and it feels like you're lying. This is something my husband does because he just is an I. He likes to talk a lot. And when he talks to a D, they shut down and they don't believe him anymore. As soon as his mouth starts going, their ears shut off. You have to know your stuff. That's where he makes up for it because we're really good dancers and we can teach him anything. So thank goodness. And confident energy. They really need to know that you are confident, because if they see a weakness, they walk away. They're done with you if you seem weak. Now, all of these people, by the way, may not be your perfect client. And that's just fine, because there's plenty of people that are. Bonus, it is a bonus for a D if you're a little sassy or witty. They really do like that. What I styles need, they need a fun experience. They want boisterous energy, and they want you to be genuine. If they sense that you're not genuine, they're done too. They're out. And both of them do better in person. All right, S and C styles. The S styles need safety, security. They need a community. They need friendship. They need a team, because they don't necessarily believe that they have the ability to do it on their own. Ds think they can do anything on their own. And they're wrong, because none of us can do everything on our own. I'm one of them, so I know. And but S's absolutely need to know that there is a team that's going to envelop them and bring them forward. And they need to not be pressured. They shut down very quickly. They get into that reserve state and they'll clam up. The C styles need you to be very accurate, correct information, well articulated. You need to be knowledgeable, and it should be like a factual, educational energy. They like that. They like kind of dry teaching. It's me too. Okay, so where do these styles buy the best? Online for S's and C's, because they can feel safe in their little hole. They don't have to have that interpersonal communication. When you ask an S or a C to get on a Zoom call, oftentimes they will panic a little bit inside. And they'll think, well, sure, if I can have my camera off. And the new generation, especially of S's and C's, they don't even want to talk on the phone at all. They would rather just have text communication. They do not want to have to be on the phone. They get anxiety about interpersonal communication. And sometimes that leads to returns, which they will buy, but they don't really mean it. They buy because they're scared to say no. So the D's and the I's are much better in person and on a face-to-face Zoom. They will prefer that over anything. They need to see and feel someone's energy. They're not buying based on mental things. They're buying based on that energy that they feel.
Kathleen,
Okay.
can I ask you a clarifying question? That was really, really good and really helpful. If we are a D or an I, then should we only be selling to D's and I's? And if someone is a C and an S, is it really better? You know all of these training sessions that say, who's your tribe? Who are you most comfortable with? Who do you want to sell to? I mean, everything right now is to be as unique as you possibly can, so that you don't have any competition, right? Just be yourself. Well, then wouldn't that mean that our tribe is really made up more of the people that understand us and we understand them? Or should our tribe be a mixed bag?
That's a great question. It depends on your personality and whether, so as a D, two Ds together can be like two rams butting heads. I have had those experiences in sales with another D, and I swear it was the most silly and awful experience I created, because I'm a D, he's a D, and we were just like, "Grr." It's not always the best feeling. Because they're both struggling to gain power. So you have to be willing to release your power. If you're ever in sales, you have to know you're not really the one. You're giving them the illusion of power. You're in control, but you're not making it so they think you're in control. Does that make sense? So, cool. Yeah, so I do find that you are more magnetic to that which you are. So people who are like you. And that means that it's easier for them to understand you because you get them, because you are them. And most people do sell best to their own style. And the truth is, there's plenty of people on this planet, even though there's only 3% of Ds. If I only ever sold to Ds for the rest of my life, I would make gazillions of dollars and just be fine. You don't
And
need.
what's your second one? What's your whole thing?
I'm a CD. but I
So,
do better with Ds. I like
so you're a
Cs as well.
DC?
C is primary. So I'm more reserved than outgoing, but I can turn it on when I need to.
So
That is such,
what's all four of yours?
No, mine's CD. That's
that
my
is
primary.
such an unusual combination, because
I know.
I
So
had just,
it's a CD what?
That's it. So you either have 2 or 3 letters, usually 1, 2, or 3. I just have 2 that are above the midline in my graphs. And I do this so that I'm a DISC facilitator. So I have a 42-page report that I facilitate for people and myself. And so I've taken multiple different ones. I'm a CD, and that's it. The other ones are pretty low below the midline. I is like kind of, but S is like I don't have much S in me. I'm too fast. I gotta go. Let's go, 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 go.
See, I'm a DS, which is about as weird as your CD.
Interesting. Yeah, that is. And it's not unheard of, because I do these for a lot of different groups, and it's very interesting. Sometimes in doctor groups, you'll get like a D or an IC, because they used to be an I, but they had to become a C to become a doctor. You can't be a doctor and just be an I. I mean, I would be mortified if they were operating on me and they're just
Well,
an I. That's how
and
people die.
to that point, I think we all on this call, and we all started with looking at Dixie, trying to make money out of Tupperware. You know, we change every day. So a lot of people think that you're born one way, or up to 7 years old, you're solid and you're never going to change. There are aspects that might remain sort of certain your whole age. And I think there are soul aspects that you came in with and that you go out with. But I will tell you, and I'm having to do it at a hard level right this minute. You can change every day. You can change every day, and even these aspects of your natural tendencies. Well, you can. Okay, so I can just point to Byron, whom I know really well. So I forgot what was your highest one? It was probably C, right?
C.
Byron, was your
Mine?
yeah, when we
I-
did disc, do you remember?
I'm sure it's
No,
C.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was C,
I'm sure.
because Byron
Combination
wanted
C and D.
Byron Byron wanted to know everything about everything and wanted to do it exactly right. And so I'm pretty sure he was a C. And normally C's really bug me to death, because they're too slow and they have to have too much information. They never want to get off their chair, right? They just want more information. And I suppose there are some aspects like that of Byron, but for whatever reason, I think my S and his C went together well. I would never hire anyone. In the last 5 companies I've run, I would not hire anyone that didn't take a disc, so that we could talk in an interview. So I had them take a disc before they came in, so that we could
Absolutely.
talk about what that said about the way we were going to interview. And 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 why this is so important with you guys. And right now, Kathleen, what you're helping me understand is that I'm clearing my life right now, right? I don't want extra anything in it, because I've got to be Royal Crown Diamond before you do. And so I've got to clear every path so I have a runway, right? And so I'm looking at my body clearing, my mind clearing, my social outreaches clearing, my things I do during the day clearing, because I'm setting myself up for some ambitious goals, bigger than I've ever had in my life. And for that, I have to be clear. And Kathleen is helping me to understand that part of that clearing is also, don't try to be so many things to so many people, because if I sell to people that really like information, like Byron, and people that really like clear vision, right? Because as a D, I like have a vision that's very tight and very clear. And there are people that love that about me. They just want to do whatever I tell them to. Those are the people that I like to sell to, because They don't bug me. But an I is going to be all over the place, bouncing everywhere, right? And so they're not always going to trust me because I'm going to hold them to accountability, which is my S. And I'm going to say, wait a minute, we just agreed that we were going to get XYZ done, but you didn't. And now we don't have anything in common. So I think if we get really clear on what we want to be around and what feeds our soul, right, Kathleen?
Yeah, that's where we're getting next.
Let me jump in for a second, because I don't think we change. We can present ourselves differently, okay? Because
Okay.
I sold to a C when I was a sales rep,
I can see that.
okay?
Uh-huh.
And I am a D. I'm an 18 on a 20 scale D.
Oh no.
Oh yes, okay, and that is correct. I am, right? But what I had to do to sell to him, recognizing once I was introduced to this concept way back in the dark ages, was I had to take every presentation that IBM prepared for a new product and reformat it. And I had to talk all about the positives and the negatives. So I'm not changing, but I recognize that for us to have a reasonable conversation, he had to be convinced I wasn't pulling the wool over his eyes on anything, and that he
Sure.
could find nothing wrong with the product that I hadn't already upfront discussed with him. So
Sure.
clearly, I'm not changing, and if you look at the percentages of market for you to be, at the highest level in Young Living, the larger percentage are not Ds. And even though if you take 3% of 335 million people, it's a large number, it's easier to sell to the 69%.
Yes. Well,
Sure.
and I
And we're
think
about to get to your sell, like the way you sell best and how, because it's not the same for everyone. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't have to have 50% of the population to make millions of dollars. You just don't. You really don't. You can have a small group of people. And I will tell you, D's spend a lot of money. They have a lot more money than most S's, I's, and C's. They just do, because they tend to take over things and be in charge. So even though you would think numbers wise, and you need like a bigger chunk of this pie, there's plenty of pie for everybody. And maybe you just are having a different pie, but it has the same volume in the end. So where different people sell best, D's and I's sell best doing parties, meetings, having networking things, doing Zooms and that kind of stuff. When Ricardo was talking about relationships and stuff, I agree. I think relationships are your currency. It's the only currency you really have in life is relationships. How are you building those relationships is entirely different depending on your personality and your style. A lot of S's and C's are horrible at home parties because they are so uncomfortable with that situation, and they don't like going to them either because they feel pressured, and they don't want to feel pressured. Even though they're having fun, they feel like they were forced into a decision, which will get you returns, or they will just cancel and they won't talk to you anymore because they don't want that confrontation. They're not interested in that, and they don't want to discuss it. They want to just disappear fast. So you have to find your zone, your strength zone. And these are all things that I work with my clients on. And again, we could go so deep into all this, but I'd rather get a shallow view so that you can at least have a big picture of what could be possible for you. So S's and C's are great at YouTube's because they don't have to worry. They can edit. S's and C's would like to be able to edit their stuff and not have it be like a live Zoom call, because that's a lot of pressure for an S or a C. Ads are great for them. There's a lot of great ad strategies. If they learn the skills, and then we're going to get to that in a little bit, what the skills are to develop, then they can be fantastic at it and never have to host a party in their life. Never. They can enroll people automated. And that's freedom for an S or a C. A D or an I would be in the most miserable space in their life because they want that personal communication. They want the interaction. Blogs and courses, those are great for S's and C's. Now, all of these are great for everyone. They just are better fits for certain people so that they're comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, your buyer's not comfortable. They will never be comfortable if you aren't. You have to be comfortable first. So people buy based on know, like, and trust. And for each style, you're going to find your zone of doing things. D's are great on stage. D's are awesome speakers. I's tend to be fantastic speakers. Can anyone be a great speaker? Yes. Is it going to be an S's or C's first choice? No, not at all. So if that's you, then choose something else. Write a book. You can have a course or a program. You can write a blog, have your YouTube channel, do podcast interviews. And the speaking thing, like I said, it's based on you, and it's not just based on your spot in the box, but what lights you up? What is it that makes you go, yeah, I would love to do that. If I could just sell from a stage, that would be amazing. Or if I could just sit in my house and just write and money comes at me because I'm writing things, that would be awesome. You can still do all of that. Now, through my studies, I have learned that there's so many different types of persuasion and influence training out there. They all boil down to this one sentence. People will do anything for those who believe in their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. I'm going to explain what these really mean. When you believe in someone's dreams, here's how it looks. You can totally do this. I can totally see, and then you vision cast for them because they may not be thinking as big as you can, and they might buy into their own vision better when you can see further than them. The second one, justify their failures. It's not your fault. I've been there too. And then share a story. Take them on that journey with you. Take them out of it afterward, and there's hope. You don't want them to sit there in their problem. You want them to move out of the problem and into there's hope. The third one, allay their fears. It's actually not that hard. Most people are afraid that it's going to be hard or that it's going to whatever. Mostly that it's going to be hard. They're going to be left alone. Those are things that people are really afraid of. Sometimes it's that it's going to take time, but that's going to be the next one. It's actually not that hard. And I'll be with you the whole time. You're allaying those fears that they're thinking in their head. Confirm their suspicions. Is it going to take time? Of course. Is it going to cost money? Yes. It's a premium price. It's a premium service. But it will not be as costly as spending thousands upon thousands of dollars and countless hours trying to solve your problem to no avail. You've tried so many things without hope that gave you nothing, and you tried the same things over and over. How did that work out for you? It didn't. So yes, of course it's going to take time, and yes, it's going to cost money. This actually works. And there's a book called Influence and Persuasion by Dr. Cialdini. I highly recommend it. You should read it, listen to it, whatever. There is a very important point that he made, is that the use of the word but should be very intentional. There are two companies that did this very, very well. The use of the word but negates everything that came before it and has your brain ignore what was just said. So Avis, we're number one, but we try hard, or we're number two, but we try harder. They're admitting they're not number one. Hertz is number one. We all know that, right? Avis, we're number two, but we try harder. We try harder is the thing that sticks in your subconscious. The second one was Maybelline. And if you remember, long ago, it used to say we're more expensive, but you're worth it. Some marketing genius, and I use the air quotes because it's not genius, got rid of the first part. And now it says because you're worth it. Well, they didn't say why. What's because I'm worth it? You spend more money because you're worth it. You got to tell them what the problem is, and that's confirming their suspicions. So people are waiting for that, like, okay, but what's the catch? Come on. And you have to, when you understand this one sentence, and screenshot this, save it forever. When you understand this one sentence, you can get inside everybody's head into the thoughts they're already thinking and really answer the questions that they haven't even heard, they haven't even thought to ask yet. But they will. And as soon as you ask it, and as soon as you answer it, they're like, how did you know I was thinking that? You seem like this wizard, because you've already thought about them. You've spent time in their mental space so that you can help them to a new space. This is what I talked about in the live the other day. You're trying to help someone come from their vibration up to yours. And it's going to be dissonant at the beginning. And the more exposures that you have with them, you're bringing them into resonance so that they are resonating.
Kathleen, what you're really training us here to do, and I think that this is one of the very big missing pieces on the planet, that if we just can get this right, we'll have a compassionate world. And that is truly listening to people. And this is the bottom line of Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it starts with yourself. Truly know what your dreams are. Truly know what your failures that brought you to this point are, and be grateful. Truly know what your fears are, and see what you can do to just get them a little bit better. Confirm your own suspicions, and
Yeah.
and
then help them throw rocks at their enemies.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, we're going to do this together. They don't know that you can do this. All those other things didn't work because they didn't have the right method. And those gurus, they come from their mountaintop and talk to you, but I'm right here next to you. We're going to show them that you actually can do this. Or your family, they said that you always jump from this to that or whatever. They don't know that you're dedicated, that you're motivated. You just get on their side and help them understand that you see things from their perspective. What you just said. People don't know. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's just the truth. I'm working on finishing my book, Carry Your Way to Success. And it's all about showing people that you care, because it is the number one thing that I can attribute to my success. Yes, communication and all that, but I care so deeply. Now, you have to be careful when you care deeply, because this is going to go a little crazy, but it's not, because it's all connected. If you don't know your type of human design, go to mybodygraph.com. It's free, and figure that out, because you are emanating energy at a certain aura. Your aura is doing things. Mine, I'm a generator. My strategy, if you see that generator/MG, that's also like a manifestor generator, they're kind of linked, but the strategy for a generator is to respond. Now, I am someone who cares greatly. When someone says they have an issue, I want to solve it now. And I usually have the answer, but they didn't ask me. I need to respond when it is brought, not when it's just thrown out there into the ether. If I know, oh, hey, I know you've been struggling with this. Can I tell you? No, that's not my style. And it's not my strategy for my human design. And I have learned that. This is new to me in the last 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years. If you're a manifester, your strategy is to inform. You are the type who can go and talk to someone and tell them and start things. Generators are builders. We're really great at building things and inviting people into our space. They feel very comfortable when they are around us. Projectors, they are non-energy energies. And that means that they are not initiators and they're not builders. They are guides. And my husband is a projector. And that means he was brought here to support generators and manifestors, specifically generators. The reason why is because generators need someone to be able to guide us and usher in the people into our space. So the projector's job is to wait for an invitation. They need to wait to be asked. And finally, the reflectors, which is very, 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 very few people, like 1%, they need to wait for a lunar cycle in order to do things. I know very little about the reflectors because I've met, I don't think, hardly anyone, but they're sampling different things. This is just, I highly recommend getting into human design. And if you need help with it, I'm happy to help you. It's just very, very helpful to know how you're energetically mapped out and planned so that you can work with it instead of against it. And that will also help you, like you asked Trish, find your space. What is your space? So as a generator, I know I'm awesome at Q&A. And I'm awesome at responding. You asked me to do this. Anytime I offer to do something, I'm not acting in my energetic zone. I'm not acting in my authority. And when I wait for someone to come to me, for instance, in sales, everywhere that I have been, people walk up. It's retail sales. People are coming to me. I am not cold calling. When I go networking, I never network to sell my business. I only network to connect people to someone else. Because if I start talking about my stuff, it does not turn out well, because that's just not how I'm energetically designed. And I watch other people do it and I'm like, oh, I could do that. I can't. I mean, I can, but it doesn't go well. So I just choose to act in my space and do the things that work for me. And that's what I would recommend for you as well. So genuinely care about people. I always recommend Ho'oponopono before any encounter, because you will get yourself into the right space. There are so many stories of people who have doubled, tripled their sales, same month, just a year apart, nothing different, right? Same person, same bookings, same amount of everything. And sometimes they're selling 2 cars to a couple instead of just one. I mean, it's just wild because they get into this Ho'oponopono before they meet them. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You're thinking kind things about the person. And in the book, Influence and Persuasion, Dr. Cialdini talked about 6 different principles. And I was at a presentation before the book was launched, and he's told us there's one secret principle, and that is liking. And it's not know, like, and trust like people talk about all the time. It's that you have to like them. If you don't like who you're talking to before they meet you, they will never feel good making a relationship and moving forward with anything. So you have to initiate the liking. You have to find reasons to fall in love with your potential client, your person that you're talking to, before you ever really start that relationship. Ask questions and know yourself. Okay. If you loved this and you want to know more, or if you want to go deeper in anything, I have a QR code here. I'm going to post the link in the chat. You can go to this page and let me know how I can serve you. I'd be happy to. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. I hope this has helped some of y'all. I could go so deeply into so many things, but
Kathleen, you are, now, I mean, you and I are so much alike. And so this is even clarifying me even more that I need to really be specific about who I spend the most time with. But she is really what I consider an expert at several subjects, not the least of which is dance. When she and her husband came and taught us all how to dance at the first Golden Motorcycle Gang. We had such a good time. But this presentation, and I've been to maybe not hundreds, but many. I bet I've been to 40 or 50 presentations on DISC, and I've used it every single day. I use it. This is one of the best I've seen, and I'll tell you why. Well, I mean, you taught me a bunch of things that I hadn't really thought about or hadn't really considered, because when I was in banking and when I was with AT&T, I had to sell to everybody, right? So even though we did DISC and we did Myers-Briggs, I couldn't pick the group I was going to sell to. And Kathleen, I'd like to ask you, not only for your husband and you to come and teach us dance again, I would love for you to give an updated version of this when we have our next Golden Motorcycle Gang in October, because I know in a group setting, you can get people into their own groups and in one day change their lives, Carol. Because you can get people to start to work with the different groups and with the people that are the same, and they can see how powerful they can be with anybody really fast. And I've watched people with super difficult personalities, people that kind of can't get along with the rest of the group, all of a sudden open up because they realize that the very thing that they offer the group is the very thing that everybody needs, but didn't appreciate. And so people learn really quickly how to leverage their good and bad parts, kind of. We all have good and bad parts. And I'd love for you to do a version where everybody really gets a chance. I think that Jack would get a kick out of this. Jack knows DISC very well, obviously, but because it doesn't matter when we learn something, we always don't know stuff. And I know the last Golden Motorcycle game, Jack said, I will promise I will never miss another one, because at the Golden Motorcycle games, he's just a participant. You know, yes, he's famous. Yes, he's the reason that we're meeting, but I insist that he just play with us, and that he get as much when he walks out the door that night, that he says that was the best time I could have spent. And he did say that this time. He said, I just feel like $1,000,000 and I learned so much stuff from everybody. And, you know, it's coming from the biggest trainer on the planet. So when we all get together, I think the next one is, what is it, Byron? The 12th?
October 24th or
No, I think it's the 12th, 13th, and 14th. I have.
oh, all right.
I'll look at it. And I have it. We have it up on Eventbrite. Oh, you're right. Sorry about that, Byron. It's 21, 22, 23. And
He's a thief.
what?
No, I
Because
didn't have
he's
it
a
right, but I was
thief.
closer.
Yeah, no, Byron is so
He's impeccable
wonderful.
with details.
But Byron is the best business partner I've ever had. We've done a lot. We've really gotten a lot done together, and we've had a lot of fun. But anyway, I can only tell you that what you've just done with even our team, wouldn't you agree, you guys? Are you a little bit different because you just listened to all of this? I mean, just real
Yeah,
quickly.
it was phenomenal. It was way better than just a refresher on DISC. It was a real sharing of insights about human beings.
Yeah.
It's
Would you guys one by one, I'm not going to call on you in case you are eating or something like that, but would you mind just one by one saying something that you learned from Kathleen today?
And by the way, I'm happy to go more in depth on any of these.
Well, would you do it for
possibilities.
October? Could you do it for October?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything that they learned? Roberta, do you have something?
I believe that I'm an I.
Yeah.
But I've been in a whole bunch of different classes where isn't there another one? There was another one with different cards. Are you a
Oh,
red?
Roberta, there are
yeah.
there are a bazillion, but
But they're all the same thought.
all similar. DISC was taught to me by AT&T, so in my 20s. But when I started working with high-risk kids that were maybe hadn't been educated, their parents maybe hadn't been educated, and we needed to very, very fast get them on their own individualized learning plan.
Yeah.
And we needed to get the teachers behind whatever because we cared about the unique child. We didn't care about groups. And it was the only relative one that I could do super fast,
Right.
down to kindergarten, and get as accurate of an opinion of how best to work as a team. And so in all of the trainings we did with the children, with the teachers, with the administrators, with even the charitable people that were involved, everybody had to take a DISC, so that if there got to be like a friction,
Yeah.
the common language would be to a little kid. The little kids knew, well, it's just that I like being right. You know, if a little kid knew, I just don't like taking chances like you do, then they had a reason that disconnect was coming up, and that they could talk about it. So DISC has been a lifesaver for several companies I've run. Fran, you wanted to say something just a minute ago. Thanks, Roberta.
Okay.
Hi, I definitely learned a lot. What I learned about Kathleen is from the beginning, I felt that I was similar to her in being a C and a D, but not sure because I had never really done this one in particular, the DISC. But as she went through, there were many similarities, although we're both completely different in what we do in life, but there were a lot of similarities. And then at the end, when she was talking about networking and how she really is all about connecting people and looking out for others, and that's exactly. Then I was like That's cemented because I'm a fan. My tagline is a fantastic creative connector, and I really liked listening to her explain her point of view with that, because it really is by doing for others, whatever you are about will come about, right?
Right.
And I just really enjoyed that.
Thank you,
Thank
Fran.
you. And the book-
Sonia has some stuff that she would like to add.
And by the way, if anyone needs a DISC assessment, just follow the link in the chat because I can set you up with that too.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi,
thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Trish.
you.
Thank you, Kathleen, for the great presentation. I learned a lot today. I think I'm a D, and I think I want things done too, but I'm not completing things. So I have a little bit more, I guess, more reality on that, and also looking at the way that I interact with people and my expectation, especially, with the examples of asking people certain things to do and why they're not done. Because I was taking it personally. So this was great. Kathleen, I'd like to meet up with you maybe individually when at the next the October meeting, because I think that a lot of the things that I'm doing and not getting to goals is because I'm not realizing either working with people or my own abilities, and not doing things that are in alignment with that. So
well, Sonia, one of the things that I love you bringing up right here, and I want to edify, is I think I know everybody, at least on the screen, pretty well. And our Young Living business is an augment to all the other things that we do. For me, it supports everything I do. And in fact, right now, I'm doing so many things just to keep myself healthy while I'm in a very, very, very stressful time. I'm spending most of the day at the hospital trying to do all my work from the hospital, and it's very stressful and it's very toxic environment. And so, and then there's a lot of questions and answers and learning and all that. And so I'm doing like the Ningxia reset. I'm doing the petrochemical release, because petrochemicals are being held on to my body faster than anything because of the environment I'm in. And I'm doing these things. I'm using oils all throughout the hospital and me, and I'm giving them to nurses and doctors, because it's supporting me being in an extremely stressful environment. But when you're flying high, one of the people that I worked with a couple of days ago is a very important speaker, is speaking all the time, and they just need valor to even just get up on the stage. Once they're there and there are 2,000 people, it's fine. But they live and breathe on valor and lavender and stress, whatever it is, stress at night.
Joy.
And so Young Living, someday Kathleen and I are going to, we're in quiet competition, but someday we're going to compare every month how much money we're making from Young Living. And she challenged me and said that she was going to get to be Royal Crown Diamond before me, and I said, no, you're not. But anyway, That's our D's coming out. But
Mhm.
the point is that yes, we are doing this for money. Young Living is one of my income streams, one of the ones I love, but it's also supporting my lifestyle. But I love the different income streams I have, and I need to work on them. And so one of the things about this disc presentation is to say, you know, what things in Young Living help me to be the best person I can be, whether my life is just really hard or really fabulous. It's one of my cutting edge things, or I don't like the word hack very much, but it's a hack for me because as long as I stay with all my products, I feel better and I can manage even when it feels like I can't manage at all. And I think in October and even on these Saturdays, you guys, we have a lot of talent in this group, and I like for you to teach classes because we all do better when we all lead. You know, when we all have different chances to lead, we all learn each other's personalities. We get to build a closer closeness. I'm sure some of you will hire Kathleen as a result of this just to help you with DISC. And then you might want to take dance lessons from her. Who knows? But she can tell you deeply about the oils. She knows them like the back of her hand. So these are
Seaside.
huh?
That's the
What?
seaside. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all a really good outreach for each other to help each other because we're all becoming best friends in this group. And I think one of the things I thought of that we all have in common, Kathleen, that the corporation gave us is the throwing rocks at the enemies. What I don't normally do anti anything, but one of the things that I really care about is throwing rocks in nature. And one of the things that buying Young Living stuff does is it really supports our environment and supports doing the right kind of organic farming and the right kind of helping with the waters and things like that. Um, so for me it helps, but they got that right. They've gotten the marketing right. So anybody else have something that they want to ask or share about? Heather? Heather, are you wanting to say something? I
Sorry.
think you're talking, but we can't
Yeah,
hear you.
sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
no, I've never heard of DISC before, so this is all new to me, but I learned a lot today and I'd like to learn more.
Well, what did you learn if you've never heard of it? What were you curious about?
Well, just the 4 different types of people you are, you know, or the connection of 2 different types. I don't totally know what I am because I'm pretty introverted but I like to have fun. But you know, there's sort of different things, but no, I just like to learn more about it.
Well, and Heather, we're all a combination of all 4, aren't we? And
no,
then
I
there
can see that.
and then our experiences push us in one direction, and the people around us push us in certain what I think is fun is to see, oh, that's why I've always kind of like you said, I'm introverted. Well, I learned even when I was in high school that I'm actually an introvert. And most people would never, ever, ever believe that about me because I learned at a very young age I had to make friends because my dad was military. And so because I have always known I was an introvert, I have to work on things like building confidence and like speaking in public and like being comfortable with XYZ. And it's because I had to learn to embrace that thing in me that just would prefer to sit in the corner with a computer. I'd be happy all day long. And sometimes I don't want to go out. Byron will be with me. I'll be just like, I don't want to see a bunch of people right now. I just want to be alone. And some of these guys will go, well, we're going to have a party today, so you just got to get your happy face on, you know. And then I have a great time. But if we all kind of know about each other like that, we can kind of push each other into different things. But thanks for talking, Heather. Byron, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to comment on you talking about sitting in a corner with a computer.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
I'm working on this software, and I'm so excited about the result. And now I have to figure out how to engage with people again.
Well,
Get
and
the
that
software out there.
and that is a good point, because when we're focused and okay, so a couple of days ago I was in this fascinating thing. I'm going down a road of what is fascia. I'm going down a rabbit road with what is fascia. It's just an amazing thing to learn about. And also, of course, because I'm working with Tom and his healing of brain cancer, I'm really trying to learn even more about the brain than I always have. And if you focus for 1 hour on one thing, so let's say you want to meditate, or let's say you want to focus on buying a car for 1 hour, or you want to focus on reading a particular book for 1 hour, whatever you focus on for 1 hour. I had this fascinating video that I found the other day of dendrites hooking up with each other and other dendrites literally self-destructing. And so dendrites take seconds to hook up and make a connection so that the neural pathway gets stronger, and as it stays connected, it gets thicker. So it gets more and more in place. And when you focus on something for an hour, those dendrites that are going like this in your brain, and they're trying to feel each other and find each other, and you're focusing, what happens is all of a sudden they click and they hold on to each other. And you actually double those connections in 1 hour, double. And so if you are somebody like Tom or even Carol's a great example of this right now. If you are doing everything in your power to heal yourself of something really devastating, and in Tom's case, brain cancer, doesn't get much worse than that. Everything matters. Every single thing you do all day long matters. And one of them is to do your best to clear away anything that's not letting you focus. And so we've been talking a lot about that lately. And the opposite happens, of course, if you're scattered. So if your environment is scattered, if the kind of food that you eat is scattered, if your thoughts are all over the place, scattered, 1 minute you feel horrible, the next minute you feel all right, and you can't get your thoughts to kind of stay in alignment with what you want to concentrate on. If any scattering is going on, that's where your body and mind will go. And so it's imperative to look around like, okay, am I breathing deep? That's a scatter, right? One scatter about breathing would be like, like that, right? You have to just slow down. If you are in a scattered space, close your eyes for a minute and get into that quiet, dark space. Do whatever you can to unscatter. And if, like right now, with me being physically in so much scattering, I'm doing. I did last week. I'm not recommending this. I just did 2 packets of Ningxia 4 times a day, because I could feel my body was not happy. And
Might as well just drink it from the bottle.
Well, I was running all over the place, so my purse was full of those packets. But I just wanted to really get myself in alignment with that high currency. And it was
There's a really good example of that. We were Diane and I were watching the movie Tick Tick Boom last night. I don't know, have you seen that?
no.
But it's the story of the guy who wrote the musical Rent, and he died at age 35 before the first time that Rent was on the stage. He had some heart problem or aortic problem. But anyway, he was doing his first musical. It took him 8 years to do his first musical, and it turned out, and everybody liked it. And actually, Stephen Sondheim liked it, but nobody wanted to produce on the stage, and so he had to start all over again. But when he was producing that first musical, there was one critical song missing, and everybody told him, "There's this song in the middle that you got to have this song." And it's like the day before he has to go on and do a presentation about it. And the last thing, or the first thing he does is he just completely organizes his apartment. And it's a total mess. He's been letting everything go to hell because he's been writing and figuring things out. And he's got all kinds of other things going on in his life. But he has to get this song done. And so he just goes and organizes everything, makes it pristine. And then finally the song comes and it's perfect and everybody loves it.
Yeah, people think that the harder they work on something, the better it'll be, but that is not true. It's not how data works. Sometimes you literally have to unplug from something and clean up other things that are taking your attention. And so your body is going to have a direct effect on the quality of your mind. Your brain is the quality of your mind. And so your body's going to have a direct effect on it. And if your body is in a mess, whether it's in your car, whether it's in the grocery store, or whether it's in your house, you have to think about, where am I in the environment? The more you're in nature, the more you'll clear things. So even hugging trees actually works. And what I've noticed is that the blessing in caring for Tom the way I am is that I'm having to be very clear on what my own work and intentions are, because if I don't, I can feel it immediately. Of course, I've been teaching yoga since I was 17, so I feel everything. I really understand my body pretty well, and I can stop immediately and go, okay, I got to fix X, Y, Z, or even doing some yoga poses in the hospital or something. But I think what Kathleen has pointed out, and she may be in the car getting ready for her little boy's birthday party because she had to multitask today. But what Kathleen was pointing out, there she is. I need to go to a 5-year-old birthday party with my son. Thank you all. Kathleen is a huge blessing in this group, and she and I spend a lot of time dissecting information and trying to see how can we spread this message more, because young living is absolutely God saving into this planet in so many ways, and right now I'm having to experience at a very micro level. But when Laura this week saw Dixie, and poor Dixie she had all these issues going on in her life personally, and was just not happy. And then she decided to start selling Tupperware and was struggling with that. But then she kind of fell in love with the founder of Tupperware in the story. And so she became Tupperware, and she's making a huge living. I think she's #1 or #2 in Tupperware right now.
As Abraham Hicks says, it's all about alignment.
It's all about alignment. Yes.
You have to align yourself with what you want. And knowing, and what Kathleen was teaching, knowing about who you are is a huge help in aligning yourself with what you want.
And clearing the path to that. So what can you do to make it easier to be the bullseye? So you are the bullseye, whether you believe it or not. Whatever you desire, God put that into your heart. So you're the bullseye. Now, stop covering it up. When you come in, like, look at Heather right now. She's one big ball of sunshine. And so when you walk into a room and you're as bright as Heather is, everybody's going to reflect to themselves more than they would when she's dark. So when she's a bright light, people can mirror themselves stronger. And so for you to put out your bright light of who you are, what you want, doesn't help anybody else in the room. When you show up as powerful and as confident and as beautiful and as light bulb purple as Kathleen is right now in the car, you give everybody permission to be the best that they can be, because there's only one of you. There's only one of them. And your job is to clear the clutter. Clear the clutter, feng shui all the way. Get back to water and trees. Get back to nature. Feng shui is the way of water, the way of air. And so
Well, our
breathe.
time is up today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thank Kathleen for
Yeah.
being here, showing up, and doing a masterful presentation.
Masterful. Now,
human
next week,
behavior.
you guys, next week, this is going to be really fun. There's going to be a whole panel of us. And if you'd like to be on the panel, you have to let us know. But there's going to be a whole panel of us talking about what Awakening Abundance has done for us. We're going to end Awakening Abundance on the 21st of June. And we're going to just have a panel discussion about how it's helped us so far and where we are on it. And it's going to be a lot of fun, because a bunch of us are going to be talking on top of each other like we do anyway. But I love you guys, and Byron loves you guys, and Kathleen loves you guys, and Deborah loves you guys. Look at you, Deborah. You look like a little really pretty artist that you are. And so you guys show up, bring your friends, sponsor people so we can spread this message, please. People are lonely and afraid and by themselves, and they need for you to hold their hand. So go out and make it a great day, make it a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday. Thursday nights, I'm doing 30 Days to Silver, except that I forgot last Thursday, so sorry. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.